What motivates a young dancer in training to start her own business, to start her own podcast channel? There are many podcast channels around ballet. A lot of them are actually in English. And Clara decided to create her own podcast channel that is actually bilingual. So it's in English or in French, depending on who the invitee is. And you know what? That kind of reminded me of Corps de Ballet that is definitely multilingual. We're trying our best to always have interviews in the language of the person we're interviewing. Bear with me, I still have to learn a couple of languages to catch up with everyone. So today I wanted to invite Clara for multiple things. First of all, I think she's such a beautiful soul and such an interesting person, and I really want you to get to know her a little bit. I also want you to get to know more about her podcast channel, because we're gonna have a surprise and an announcement during this live. So I'm just gonna wait a few seconds for her to join. Let me just check if she is around. There's always a couple of technical things to work out with Instagram. Here she is. Hello, Diana. Hello, Susan.
Hi.
Hey, Clara. How are you?
Hi,
You can see my
everyone.
face. So just first off, désolée pour les francophones, on a décidé de le faire en anglais.
Désolée.
Pour avoir plus de monde. Mais si vous voulez, on peut en faire un autre. In French, later on.
Pas de problème. De toute façon, je suis toujours disponible.
Or we can switch from one to the other.
Yeah.
C'est comme ça qu'on parle de toute façon.
C'est pas faux.
How are you doing, Clara?
I'm doing great. I've just come back from these master classes in Prague, and yeah. So,
Yeah, the one organized by Daria and Vadim, right?
Yeah, they're great.
How was it?
I just love them. It was amazing, actually. Yeah, it was even better than the first time I went there, which was last year. So
last
yeah,
year was your
great.
first time?
Yeah, last year was my first time, and this year is my second time.
So the funny thing is we were both there, and I saw you, but I didn't really see you.
Yeah, we didn't know each other yet, so.
I knew you, but you didn't know me. That's the beauty of Instagram.
Yeah, sometimes people are like, oh, are you Clara from like Instagram? And I'm like, yeah.
So your name is Clara from Instagram.
Well, people are like, are you Clara on Point? And I'm like, yeah. I'm a little bit
for
embarrassed.
those who do not know Clara on Point, people who are coming from my account rather than your account. Who is Clara on Point?
Well, I'm Clara Strassel, but my Instagram has been Clara on Point for like years, and so I think all of my social media has this name because I'm pretty bad with names, and I came up with that one. It was like Misty on Point, you know? So I came up with that one when I was like 12 or something.
Yeah, I was about to say 13.
I just kept it. I was young. I just kept it. And yeah, so my Instagram is mostly me doing ballet. I don't post a lot of like personal stuff because it is more of a professional page where I like give advice. It's kind of my blog, so to say.
Okay.
But yeah, I
Insta-vlog.
share my experience with like ballet and my life as a professional ballet student. So yeah.
So how did you come up with the idea of starting interviewing other people?
So that's interesting. Okay, basically I had a YouTube channel last year, and somehow I felt restricted because I was like, oh, I really want to like make videos where I dig a little bit deeper into some topics. And well, this kind of content is not really popular on YouTube, or you have to have a very big channel. Not that I really care about the views, but also I didn't really like the idea of having like a Zoom conversation recorded with like my face and stuff. Like, no, that's bad quality, and like, I don't know. I was like not really convinced, and I thought about it. And last year I started listening to a lot of like podcasts, and many podcasts not about ballet, like not at all. Actually about Harry Potter mostly, and what else, about just history, like a lot of different topics. And I was like, there are a few ballet podcasts, like it exists, but there isn't like one really good one.
There's none that stands out that everybody talks about,
there's
everybody
nothing
knows.
that really stands out. Like on YouTube, for example, you have Catherine Morgan's channel, or you have other channels like this, and you're like, oh yeah, these are the reference channels, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like for a podcast, there wasn't that. And I was like, that's a shame, because okay, I'm a busy person, right? Like I
was about to get to the busy. How do you manage? But let's find this question.
But I'm so busy, and so I don't have time to sit and watch a video. I also don't have the attention span, let's be honest. But yeah, like I was like, podcasts are just so convenient. I can cook and listen to them. I can stretch and listen to them. Probably not study and listen to them, because otherwise I would not be focused. But you can do many things while listening to them. And I was like, well, great. That's probably a great way to share tips and like insights on the professional ballet world that I'm in. And yeah, make it enjoyable. So that was the main idea when I created the podcast. And the other thing is that, I mean, I'm like that on Instagram too. I was like that on YouTube. I've always had this need to share what I learn. Like when I learn something that works for me, I always want to help people who haven't figured it out yet, you know, because...
So you're kind of really, really curious, but then you want to share with everyone what you
Yeah,
learned,
exactly.
Right?
Like, okay.
I keep thinking you're mini-me.
Really? I mean, I was thinking... I mean, when I started ballet and it was really bad and it was really hard because, you know, it feels like there's like a ballet code and you can't, you know, crack the code, so to say, and you're like, what am I supposed to do? I really, really wanted to have a book that told me exactly step by step what to do, you know?
Yeah.
And, well, I sort of want to be that book for people. I would say, I mean, the advice I gave when I was 13, probably not so reliable. I'm
listening.
I'm generous, so I give tips. But I realize now that I've studied a little bit more, you know, like anatomy and other things, because I'm at a dance university in Amsterdam and we study other subjects than just like ballet. And also now that I have a little bit more experience, I probably know more. And so my advice is probably more reliable. I'm more careful about what I say and what I shouldn't say. So, yeah, I throw a lot on like social media, a lot of tips, a lot of things. Probably not as much now, more on my podcast. But yeah, that was also another reason why I created the podcast, just to continue sharing experience, stuff like that. Yeah, basically.
Keep learning, keep finding out, and
exactly.
telling other people, oh, look at those things, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So you're basically the person who go and find out the answer for us, the lazy people. Who just can't be bothered looking for it. I mean, not us, me, because I'm like you, but but there are other people, and that's why we created Google, by the way. They just can't be bothered trying to look for the answer. They just want the answer. So you're the Google of ballet, basically.
I'm a little ballet Google. No, I don't know. Like some people would probably call me a bunhead. I don't think I'm a bunhead. Like I think I'm really passionate about ballet, and I know a lot, because when I'm passionate about something, I just get really obsessed with it. So yeah, I basically know a lot about what I do, and I just keep finding out new things, and yeah, just because I'm interested, and so I always want to be on top of my game, basically.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's basically my strategy, so to say. But yeah, I wouldn't say that like I only think about ballet or like that is unhealthy, you know. But yeah,
So
I
you're a
think
healthy bunhead.
I'm a healthy bunhead because I
The
think
best
being
kind.
an unhealthy bunhead is like um when you feel forced to
Yes.
like think about ballet 24/7, you know, when it doesn't feel natural, and like also when you like only do that and you don't know anything about yourself, you know, when you do it to avoid facing the world as yourself. Well, yeah, sorry that got a little
And
deep, but
no. Well, that's the point. But I love what you're saying because with our image of what a bunhead should be, because I actually think you're a real bunhead. The healthy kind is the real one. Our idea of what a bunhead should be, there's like someone that breathes, feel deep, only smell, well, actually don't eat ballet, is very unhealthy because how can you be an artist on stage if you have no life, if you have no experience, if everything
yeah,
you do is just waking up, stretching, doing your
I agree.
dance exercises routine? And but that's, you're not, when you're on stage, you're performing, you're not executing moves after moves.
Yeah,
That's a different job. It actually doesn't exist as a job. So when you're performing, you have to convey something. If you have no life, how can you do that?
yeah, definitely. And it's a big thing for me at the moment because for the past 2 years I've really like tried to explore who I was as a ballet dancer. I mean, as a ballet dancer,
Person.
yes, and as a person. But yeah, as a ballet dancer, it's also important to know what you want. Like, it's not just you listening to the teacher and doing what other people tell you to do. It's also being your, you know, Sylvie Gillam kind of person, and like, you know, thinking about what you want and saying no to certain things because you can choose, you're in charge. So yeah, exploring being a ballet dancer and like, you know, kind of being in charge of my own life, but also yeah, who I am as a person and what I want, what is important to me. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
been
Making
a
your own
very important
decision
thing.
and making your own mistakes.
Exactly, yeah, it's so important to make mistakes. Like, it's never pleasant when you do it, right?
But you
Like
learn so much.
exactly, you learn so much. And I mean, I always think that mistakes, okay, they're not pleasant when you do them, right? But like in a few years time it will just be funny, like it will just be a funny story you can tell your friends, right?
Exactly.
It won't, I mean, it won't be as dramatic, let's face it. It just
I
isn't like
actually think that a good teacher is someone who let you do some of the mistakes so that you learn, you know.
yeah,
Sometimes I feel like as a teacher and also as a manager with my team, my job is to know when the mistake will be too big, that the consequences will be really hard for them to swallow. But sometimes I let them do the mistakes, and I'm
yeah,
looking from, you know, I'm looking from the side. Okay, are they getting it? Are they seeing that it's a mistake? How do they recover? Because if you're always there saying, "Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this," you're not empowering the person
mm-hmm.
to, and then they always need you. What do you do when you're not around?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's so important because also with like teaching ballet, I think I know that I need the space to make mistakes. Otherwise, I will just feel very tense and frustrated because if you do not have the room to make mistakes, if you don't feel comfortable to fail, it's just very hard to try.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
very anxious. You get very anxious as well. You're always like,
you get very anxious, you
if I
get
do it and
tense.
it's wrong, what's going to happen? And then you don't do anything
Exactly,
at
and then
all.
you never try. And if you never try, you just never improve. That was like
And
that for my
everyone is different.
pirouettes.
Like I remember one day, one of my students, she wanted to try something. To be very honest, I had no clue if it's gonna work or not. And but she was a little bit in that zone where I don't want to try and fail. And she was looking at me like, "Shall I try this?" And I said, "Yeah,
Yeah, just
try.
try.
If you try, we'll see what happens. If you don't try, we'll never know."
Yeah, Exactly.
And
No, definitely.
that wasn't a good idea, but that was funny. As you said.
Yeah,
That's,
then it's
that's
funny.
still a
Then
funny
you just
story for
laugh
both of
about
us.
it. Like, you just laugh it off. I mean, it's fine. And then maybe you try again and you do it better. Like,
Yeah, well, we
if you don't
modified a
try,
few things and then find out
exactly.
how to make it work.
Yeah, if you don't try, like, there's no way you can succeed. I know that sounds cheesy, but that's just true. That's just the reality of things.
That's kind of what you did with your YouTube. You started with YouTube, you didn't like it, so
Yeah,
you
yeah, I
looked for
didn't like
something
it much.
else.
I know that people liked it, but I don't know if YouTube feels right for me. I don't know if I'll ever find a way to make it feel right, because YouTube was a lot about me. And basically, it's not really my personality to just talk about myself and like, look at what I'm doing, look at what I'm wearing, look how pretty I am and stuff. Like, it's
I always
just
find that
not
funny
really.
when dancers say that.
Yeah.
I'm a dancer,
That's true,
but
actually.
I don't like people to look at me. And anyway.
I don't mind people. Okay, I like performing. I like
No,
people,
I know exactly what you meant. I was
right?
just
Like,
making a joke about how it can
no,
be
but that's
interpreted.
true. That's true. I know
Yeah.
so many people who are like, yeah, even like a little bit shy in the ballet world. Yeah, they really like performing,
A
and
lot
yeah,
of them. Yeah.
so many people actually. Lots of like my best friends and stuff. They're not so. I mean, they're pretty shy. So, but yeah, no. I mean, I like the spotlight to be on me when I'm performing, but it's not my personality to just like talk about myself and how I'm doing everything right and stuff. Like, no, that's not really me. And I didn't want to give that, like, I didn't want people to think that that was me when they saw my YouTube channel. And so I was like, yeah, that's not really for me. And also, it took a lot of time, and I really didn't have the time this year. And I really didn't want to make any videos because, I needed to.
It takes a lot of time,
studies.
I can tell you.
Yeah. I mean, editing is so boring. I can't.
Well, I love editing, but it does
Really?
take a lot of time. I think people don't realize how much
I mean,
work it is.
I always liked seeing the end product, you know, like
just
the video at the end. I was so proud. Or like filming the video, found it so fun, but editing, it's so boring. I can't. Whereas like editing a podcast is just so easy. Like, it takes no time. I almost do not edit my podcast because
and I guess it's easier for your guests as well. They don't have to worry about the place and where they are.
The main thing also is that you don't see my face. And I'm like, I'm very self-conscious when it comes to, okay, I'm not self-conscious when people take ballet pictures of me. I'm kind of used to it, but just pictures of my face, I can't. Like,
you have such a cute face though.
I mean, I never like it. Never.
Really?
I always find something to say, I don't really like it and stuff. And I don't know. So
give it a year or two.
When I was talking on YouTube, I was like, no, I don't like that. Whereas like, filming a podcast, I can just be in my pajamas, and that's pretty cool, I must say.
Yeah. So who have you invited so far?
Ooh, okay. Well, my first episode is just me because I wanted to give a little bit of context on like who I am, and I mean, I think it's always nice if the host does like a little interview for like himself, or like ask a friend to interview him, because him or her actually, because then you know who is talking and what they're like talking about. So I
love what you're saying, because sometimes I go on Instagram and I found people's account. You can't even find the names.
Oh yeah.
I was going through an Instagram account the other day, someone working on conditioning for dancers. I swear I could never find that person's name. And I'm like, how can I even send you a message? You only have a handle.
It's not very personal. I want people to feel like they're part of the conversation with my friends. Yeah. And I mean, I want people to feel like they're my friends, because I mean, that's just nicer. And that was the main idea. I wanted to keep it very casual, the podcast, like very nice and yeah, kind of intimate, you know, like not very official, not very like serious, and you know, like I'm coming with my mic and my list of questions. It's more of a spontaneous thing. But yeah, the guests, who are they? So me, Katya, my friend Katya from well, I was at the John Cranko Ballet School before, and we were in the same class. She was my roommate.
So she's a student as well.
She's a student as well. If she's here, hi. And if she's not, you need to rewatch this.
We will send it to her.
Exactly. So Katya, really interesting interview. Go listen to it. Then, who was my next one?
I think all your interviews are very interesting because you always, I'm spoiling the list of the people, but you always find people who have a very interesting background and path. Not the, I mean, I'm pretty sure at some point you're going to have people who have followed the typical path, because there's nothing wrong with them. But I really loved, and that's how you caught my attention, that I had the feeling that you were choosing on purpose people who didn't have that typical path of conservatory, the school of a company, and then get into the company. Yeah. And like maybe people who've had to move to another country, who had to change from a company school to another school, etc., etc. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. Actually, you're right. Yeah, because now I remember my second guest actually. It's Irene, my friend Irene. Okay, the first people that I chose to be on the podcast, they were my friends, but people I knew really well and who had a very interesting story. Because I try to choose people who have something to say about the ballet world, about life in general, just some people who have interesting experiences, because I think that's nice for people to hear, that there isn't just one way to do things. You can do things in many different ways and still succeed. And what is success? Like, you know, I mean, there isn't just one definition, one way to be. Yeah, I just find that wrong in general. So I just wanted to show that there are different ways to do ballet, different ways to become a professional dancer. And yeah, so
you're not just sharing what you learn, you're also trying to inspire others, right?
Yeah, that's a big goal of mine. I'm trying to inspire others, but not just from myself. I'm trying to show, I'm trying to put the spotlight on people I know are inspiring, but maybe don't have the platform to share that. I'm trying to, kind of show like how cool my friends are, basically. You know, like I just now
I want to meet them all.
Exactly, like
I already know Katya and Gregoire, but I think I want to know Irene.
Yeah, I mean, Irene, you should really meet Irene. She's great. And I also met a person I had never met before on the podcast, Mia Petrovic from the Hamburg Ballet. And that was a great experience too, because it was great to interview my friends, because you never know everything about your friends, right? Like, no matter how much time you spend with them, you never really know everything. And as I'm curious, it was great to ask more questions and like learn a little bit more about their lives and their journeys. But with a person I had never met before, it was incredible. Like, we became friends in like an hour and a half. But I mean, I think that if we go to Hamburg, like, it would be as if we had been friends for like, I don't know, a long time, because now I know so much about like who she is, what her journey was. Like, it's really cool. Honestly, I love meeting new people. My second passion after ballet is definitely talking. I love talking. So I think that's also one of the big reasons, now that I say why I chose to, make a podcast. It's just because I love talking. and it's fun. It's
That's
like,
a great passion.
exactly, yeah. Having conversations, like deep conversations, sorry. It's just really great.
I love that.
Yeah.
So let's get to the juicy part of it. So, for those who do not know, I've been off the grid a little bit in the past few weeks. First of all, because there's no one on Instagram, let's be honest. It's August.
That's true.
And second reason is actually Cardo Ballet is migrating to a new platform that is really exciting. The look and feel, I really love it. Maybe some people will love the previous one, but hey, we have to move on. And that new platform will also be multilingual, which is something a lot of people have asked me. So I'll have to start with French, English, and Russian. And another great thing that this platform is giving us is the ability, sorry, phone is ringing. Another thing that this platform is allowing us to do is to produce podcasts. And so we will not only have video on demand, but we can also have audio on demand. And the reason also we wanted to chat with you guys today is because Clara has accepted to share Swan & Co.'s podcast on Cardo Ballet, meaning that if you are on Cardo Ballet, you won't have to go anywhere to listen to this amazing podcast. You just stay where you are and just have it.
I'm so excited.
And I think what would be amazing is if we have a couple of exclusive that are just on Cardo Ballet website. Because I think
I'm so excited.
We have been doing interviews in a very similar way, you and I, except that I still love videos, even if it takes me 4 months to edit the interviews. Okay, to be fair, full disclosure, one of them took me a year.
A year? Whoa.
When I issued it, the person was like, cut anything that makes people realize that was last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I remember very, very vividly this. But that's just because there was more important thing than this interview. And that's also one of the reasons I wanted to partner up with you, because I really love what you do. And I have less and less time to interview people, but I really wanted that diversity of the ballet world to be shown and shared with everyone. And when I hear you talk about that, I'm just like, yeah, that is amazing, because there's so many people who think only about maybe 4 ballet companies. There's like so many. True. There's just like so many. There are so many also really great companies that it's just because you don't. So if you don't hear about it, doesn't mean they're not great companies. If it's only 60 dancers, doesn't mean it's not a great company. You don't have to go to Bolshoi to be successful.
Exactly. No, actually, I have a funny anecdote about this. Because I'm auditioning next year, like for companies, because I'm graduating. And yesterday I made my list, like, of all the companies I want to audition for. And I have 41. So you need to know.
I hope you don't have to go to each one of them.
I don't know. I'll just send an email to each and every one of them, and maybe more. We'll see. But yeah, no, there are definitely more than 4 companies in the world. Just like get out there and,
Yeah, I really love hearing you say 41 are in your list, because I am used to 5, and I always struggle
to go
to 10.
List. Oh yeah, that's my list. So.
And at the same time, I don't think you need to have a long list. I mean, you can have 5 that you think are really, really good for you, and that's okay. It's not about the number. What I love with your approach is that you realize there's a wide diversity of places where you could be happy.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the problem. Like, that's why I put like a lot in there, because for me, it's very important that I'm happy in the place I'm gonna go to, like, I don't want to go there and
feel miserable.
Exactly. Like, I don't want to live in a place where I'm gonna feel miserable and not be able to express myself and stuff like that. So yeah, like, all of the places I wrote down, I would like to live in these cities, like maybe some more than others, but yeah. And the other problem is that if you're fixated on like one company, like if it doesn't happen, you're
Then,
gonna be
yeah.
destroyed. And I've experienced that quite a few times throughout my ballet journey. I mean, I love the Paris Opera Ballet School, never got in. Royal Ballet School, same thing. And if you have like wider options, it's better because then you're not like, you know, the stakes are lower and you're, I think, more likely to get an offer because you're not so anxious every time you audition. Because you know that,
Yeah.
next week I'm
And it
gonna
doesn't
audition
mean your
for
training will
that
be
place.
less than.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh.
It's just a more relaxed way to approach auditions, I think. And
I think it's a nice way also to plan your entire career, because let's imagine you get into a company, it works very well, direction change. And with that change of director, there's a change in the repertoire that doesn't suit you anymore.
yeah.
Well, having done that full long list, maybe you can also, like, you know, go back to that and quickly move to another place where you're happy.
Yeah, definitely. No, I agree. And I mean, I don't know a lot about auditions yet because I haven't experienced it. So all of my
We can
knowledge
work
is
on
like,
that together.
yeah.
You know what? I have a beautiful project. I'm not ready to announce it yet, though.
Okay.
But I think it's a beautiful project that you will love.
Okay. Oh, I'm so interested.
Just give me, I think next week or the week after, I'll be ready.
Ooh, it's
start
soon as well. Nice.
Or maybe offline, I can tell you.
Okay. But yeah, I think it's important to approach ballet in like a business kind of way. Like you're in charge. No one else is in charge. You can like.
It's your life, your career.
Exactly. It's your life. What you're not in charge of is, you know, circumstances, surroundings, but whatever you do, whatever actions you take, it's you. It's on you. It's your responsibility.
You've done coaching this year, you.
Yes, I have.
I love that. No, but I love it because, you know, the way you talk about it, it's so positive, so uplifting, makes you like drive your own life.
Yeah,
instead of feeling miserable because
exactly
it didn't take me.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like all on you, and it's so much weight on your shoulders, you know, because like if you don't get in, oh, that's probably because I'm not good enough. Whereas like sometimes it's just because, you know, they're not looking for you specifically, or like maybe you would not have like done great at that school or at that company. Like maybe it was just like not for you. Sorry, I'm stuttering. Yeah.
We were actually talking about that with Suzanne last week, and she was saying she auditioned 4 times to the same company at some point in her life because her boyfriend of the time was there, and she got rejected the first 4 times. And in hindsight, she realized that actually that was for the best. It would not have worked.
Yeah.
But she was just fixated because of the boyfriend situation. But for all of the other criteria of will she be happy in this company, she realized later that no. Sometimes it's just the universe telling you.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but sometimes if it doesn't work out, and I think that's also mindset. Like sometimes it doesn't work out and you have 2 options. Either you can just be like, oh my god, it didn't work out, now I'm gonna quit, or you can be like, it didn't work out, it's probably because there's something better out there.
Or you can try again.
Way to say things.
You can try again though.
You can try again, but I would say, I mean, that's me. Try twice, not 3 times. I mean, I know some people try until they get it, and I admire the dedication, but I think if a place doesn't want you twice, I don't know, you don't want to be the person who has been rejected from a place twice. I don't know. Like for schools at least, I never wanted to do that. Like, yeah. I think pretty much every place I auditioned for and, you know, got rejected, I auditioned twice. But for some other people, it works to audition like 3 times, 4 times. Yeah. I mean, I can think of.
I think it depends on the circumstances. Depends if you evolved. You know, like if you really evolved between your second try and the third, or maybe there's a change in their circumstances. I don't think there should be a rule, but I like your mindset there is a moment you need to move on.
Yeah, there is a moment where you have to, like, you know, yeah. I'm thinking of people, for example, who like keep auditioning for the Paris Opera Ballet, and they get amazing offers for other companies, but they're like, no, I want to go to Paris Opera Ballet. And I'm like, but yeah, but you could be a great dancer somewhere else, you know? That's like, I don't know, I find that a bit sad. Like, why would you try so many times to like be a corps de ballet member in Paris, but you could like have an amazing career somewhere else? I don't know.
It's all very personal.
Yeah, I guess.
I know exactly what you're thinking, and I'm like you. And if you're saying that, it's because you see that they're not really happy, and so you are probably right.
But yeah, in the end, it's what's right for you, right? So
Definitely.
and
I
what you
want to say publicly that I'm extremely happy to welcome you in the Corps de Ballet family, because
Thank you so much.
you are so fun. And I just want to give you a long list of people that I always wanted to interview and give you their phone numbers and be like, please go ahead and go and travel the world, or do it from your bedroom with your microphone next to
With
your
my
iPad,
pajamas.
in your pajamas, and continue to allow us to discover like all the talents of the world, because I really love that. And I love to know that there's someone else in this world. And I'm pretty sure there are others, but I'm just thinking about you today. I'm really, really happy to see there's someone else out there who just share that idea that we need to inspire the young dancers to see that the world is your oyster. There's so many choices out
Yeah.
there. There's so many ways you can be successful, and you'll be happy if you actually see that.
Yeah, yeah. Because there was also a time on Instagram when I started, when I was about 14, I think, where, you know, like the inspiration we got on Instagram was mostly, you know, how to fit into a specific mold, like how to look like that, or like how to act like a ballet dancer. And I think this year, in 2020 and 2021 now, it's more about you can be yourself and be an athlete.
You actually
and
have
be a
to
dancer.
be yourself.
What I want to do.
I love it. And I can't wait to see the next episode.
Yes, it's coming.
I should say to
Monday,
hear the next episode.
Actually, it's coming next Monday with a very exciting guest from the Finnish National Ballet. So I can't wait.
You're going north.
Up in the north.
You're going north.
So yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Have a good evening, Clara. Thank you.
Yeah, you too. See you.
See
Bye.
you, everyone.